get this going. Let's see. Let's go. There we go. All right. And now we are live. What up, everybody? Let me put in here. Join me on YouTube because it's so much better over there. Yay! All right. Because, it's wild because the interview is tonight at 9, and first of all, can y'all hear me? Just let me know if you can hear me. The interview is live. Well, not live. They're airing it at 9. I've got to get my kid from school at 9:15, so I'm not going to be able to go and do like a live watch party. But they do have some clips, and that's what I want to get into to start. And then we're going to talk about this Savannah rally. So let me bring this up. And let's see. Full disclosure, I have not seen any of this. Okay. I've read some comments online, not many. I've been trying to avoid them because, I love an immediate live kind of reaction situation. So I haven't seen any of this. So we're going to go. I found some clips. I found some stuff. So we'll do a little bit of that, and then we'll go to the rally. The rally was short. And why am I checking these rallies? I'm checking these rallies. I'm trying to see if she's changing her language. So, we'll see what happens. All right. So let's get into it, folks. All right.
CNN's exclusive interview with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. We're rolling out a brand new excerpt right now. CNN anchor and chief political correspondent Dana Bash is joining us live from Savannah, Georgia, where she sat down with Vice President Harris and Governor Walz a short while ago. Dana, so what stood out to you about Harris's answers?
Hi, Alex. Well, we talked about a range of issues, including what is happening here domestically, particularly with the crisis of people not feeling that they can afford basic things, groceries, housing, and also the idea of what is happening abroad. And in addition to that, I asked her about one of the main themes from her convention, which was just last week. And she discussed there the desire to be the president for all Americans. Obviously, that includes not just her party, not just potentially swing voters who vote for her, but Republicans who don't vote for her. So I wanted to know how that would translate into the kind of people that she puts in her administration if she wins.
You had a lot of Republican speakers at the convention. Yeah. Will you appoint a Republican to your cabinet?
Yes, I would.
Anyone in mind?
Yes, I would. No one in particular in mind. We got 6.
What? Okay, wait. We got somebody from Miami Beach. We love to have you. Welcome. Wait. We're gonna keep watching. We're gonna. Hold on.
Will you appoint a Republican to your cabinet?
Yes, I would.
Anyone in mind?
I would. No one in particular in mind. We got 68 days to go with this election, so I'm not putting the cart before the horse, but I would.
Is it crack? What are we doing?
What? I think it's really important.
Hi, Hillary.
I have spent my career inviting diversity of opinion. I think it's important to have people at the table when some of the most important decisions are being made that have different views, different experiences. And I think it would be to the benefit of the American public to have a member of my cabinet who was a Republican.
Y'all don't want to listen to me. I told y'all they are moving this Democratic Party to the right, okay? And the fact that I'm not gonna say forget Gaza, but aside from Gaza, they're moving the party to the right. And like, I'm just like, why? Why are people mad at folks like me for just calling this out? What is she talking about? Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Now, Alex, we have seen Democratic presidents put Republicans in their cabinet. Ray LaHood, who is a Republican congressman from Illinois, he became transportation secretary for George W. Bush. We saw Chuck Hagel, who was a Democratic senator, go into the Bush administration. But the question, obviously, is if she wins, which is still an if in this neck and neck race.
You better say it, Dana.
What is she talking about? Is she talking about somebody like defense secretary or secretary of state?
Dana is I believe conservative. I know Poppy was conservative. I think Dana is too. I think Jake Tapper is like right too. I think he likes Kamala because he's like they're kind of aligned. She's like if
state, somebody with a very, very important job.
Okay, yeah. Does she look lighter to anybody? Did she stay out the sun this summer?
When it comes to explaining the policies that she has, or would it be somebody who, not to say that all members of the cabinet aren't important.
What policies? Matter of fact, let's do our daily check. Let's go to KamalaHarris.com. KamalaHarris.com. All right. Ask us for money. All right. Still looking at money. Still meet. Still take action. Still give money. No policies. Let's scroll to the bottom. Store, contact us, donate by mail. Oh, no policy. No policy. Okay. Well, let's just go back then. Okay. Well, we're just gonna, every day that we come on, every day that I come on and I do a stream, we will check and see.
But maybe has something that is more acceptable to the people who, if she wins, believe that they brought her to the dance, Alex.
And then, Dana, on the policy front, you asked Harris as well to explain her change of position, which she has been attacked for on some key issues like fracking. What did she tell you?
Yeah, I mean, that is the number one or one of the top attacks on her from Donald Trump and his campaign. They call her a chameleon because she has changed her position on a couple of big issues, particularly since she first ran for president, which was in the 2020 cycle. And so I talked to her about some of the sort of big ones, energy, as you mentioned, fracking, which is a huge issue in the must-win state for her of Pennsylvania, and immigration as well. Some of the things that she said during that campaign have changed and shifted as she has spent the past more than 3.5 years as vice president under Joe Biden. I talked more broadly.
She's going to say whatever she needs to say to win Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Georgia. Like, I hope people understand. This is why we call it theater. Like, if fracking is a big thing in Pennsylvania, she's going to talk about fracking in Pennsylvania. If cars and auto industry is a big thing in Michigan, she's going to talk about that. She ain't going to talk about Palestinian population in Michigan, but we're not going to hold her to that because we already know, who's in her pockets. But, wow.
To her, Alex, about how that should be perceived by voters who want to be sure that if they're going to vote for her, that the policies that she is saying that she would put in place now, if she becomes president, are not going to be changed again. And effectively,
they will. They absolutely will.
Her answer was, I might have changed some of the ideas, but the core values of who I am, my core beliefs, have not changed.
And I think she's saying that because, like, if we take the death penalty thing, for example, she has talked about how she's personally against the death penalty. She wants to get rid of it. Joe Biden wanted to get rid of it. The Democratic Party does not want to get rid of it. And therefore, they got rid of the platform point that they had, that they used to have, that said that they were going to work to, to end the death penalty. They removed that from their language. So they're no longer talking about that. So whether she wants it personally or not, she's got to do what the party tells her to do if she wants to win and if she wants to continue to have their support. But at the end of the day, the DNC is funding this whole thing. And if she doesn't do what they say, then they drop her like a bad habit.
Yeah, essentially focus on the values. Dana, we've been showing some video of you on Air Force Two with the vice president and with the
never
ticket,
too late to boo
earlier
the theater.
Today. Take us behind the scenes. Of course, this was the first joint interview that the Democratic ticket has done. What was their dynamic like? What were the interactions like between Harris and Walz in the interview and on the trail that you observed?
They are getting to know each other. These are not two individuals who serve together in any real capacity. They obviously spent time together when she was interviewing.
Dana's funny. She's actually one of my favorite folks to watch because she is shady as hell.
For her running mate, they clearly clicked because she said that she wanted him to do the job. But there is a little bit of a new relationship vibe, since vibe is the word of the summer, going on between the two of them. But they clearly have a good connection, and that was obvious not just in the interview today, Alex, but I was with them on the trail here in Georgia. They're on a bus tour and in and around Savannah, watching them interact with students in high school.
Let me see, because there was another one. There's another one. Was that another one? Oh, let me see. Yeah, we might be able to do this one, share this one instead. They might be saying the same thing.
Generally speaking, how should voters look at some of the changes that you've made, that you've explained some of here in your policy? Is it because you have more experience now and you've learned more about the information? Is it because you were running for president in a Democratic primary? And should they feel comfortable and confident that what you're saying now is going to be your policy moving forward?
Dana, I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed. You mentioned the Green New Deal. I have always believed, and I've worked on it, that the climate crisis is real, that it is.
I just want y'all to know these people get approved questions. Okay? Just want to put that out there.
Is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time. We did that with the Inflation Reduction Act. We have set goals for the United States of America and by extension, the globe around when we should meet certain standards for reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. As an example, that value has not changed. My value around what we need to do to secure our border, that value has not changed. I spent 2 terms as the Attorney General of California prosecuting transnational criminal organizations violating.
Okay, so I don't like when she does this. I don't like that when she talks about, you know, being in California, like a border state or whatever, and what she was doing, her immediate like explanation, she goes straight to, I got rid of the drug people. I stopped the drugs from coming in. I stopped the criminals and things like that. A more compassionate, democratic, progressive response would be to talk more about how you supported the people that were coming here. You supported dreamers. You understand the value and that, immigrants add to our nation. Just you would start with that. You would talk about that. But she immediately goes to talking about the criminal stuff and how she's been a cop. And it's so weird. What up, Muhammad Kitty Mommy? We see you. It's so odd to me. Why would you do that? You're a pig. So, I mean, she's a pig at the end of the day. So
violations of American laws regarding the illegal passage of guns, drugs, and human beings across our border. My values have not changed.
So, Phil, that is her sort of broad explanation of some changes in policy and what she would do as president now that she is running at the top of the ticket in 2024. But as I said, we did talk about some of the specifics, which you'll see tonight.
Dana, you mentioned wide-ranging. I don't want you to give it all away.
Okay, so I don't want them to give it all away either. Let's pivot to this rally. So here's the thing about this. I don't know if y'all want to wait. Like I said, I got to pick the kid up at 9:15. I am happy to come back and stream it kind of after and not be live, and we can watch it together that way. I don't want to hold anybody up. If you want to watch, go ahead and watch or whatever. I'm happy to come in later and and pick up, or like start from the beginning later. But I am concerned that well, I'm not concerned that she's being herself. She's being herself. And I don't want anybody to think otherwise. Kamala Harris is being Kamala Harris. I'm concerned with how many people like this, right? How many people claim to be Democrats or progressives and they actually like this. They like what she's saying because those masks are coming off like the hoods are coming off on the other side. And I need y'all to see that for what that is. All right, let's see. Let's see what we got here.
Kamala Harris. As the proud president of the Savannah State student body, I couldn't be more excited to welcome a fellow HBCU alum to our beautiful city of Savannah. As a student and as a Georgian, Vice President Harris's promise for our future fills me with hope and joy. As an older sister, I know that the future of my two younger brothers will be bright because Vice President Harris is fighting to ensure that young Americans across the country can achieve the American dream.
Okay.
She has spent her entire career fighting for hard-working Americans, just like the—
I just want to pause because the joy thing, I was just recording a podcast today where we talked briefly about how this idea of joy has been co-opted from social justice movements. And so that tells me that she's got some social justice organizers that are selling out their causes and working for this.
The community that raised me here in Savannah.
Oh, I appreciate y'all. Y'all saying y'all can wait. All right, I'll come back later and do it.
She's fought for historic investments in our HBCUs and canceled nearly $170 billion in student debt.
She didn't do any of this. So now that they're pivoting, right? Now that they're rallying behind her, the pivot is going to be that she did all these things that Joe Biden did, even though people just got through chastising her for not doing anything over the last 3.5 years. So which one is it? Either she did nothing for the last 3.5 years or she did everything that Joe Biden did. Yeah. Okay. And notice that they're not saying, this person did not say anything about insulin. They just said she lowered the price on prescription drugs. Yeah. The theater of it.
Relief. Including $6.8 billion right here in Georgia. She's fought for our freedoms to make our own reproductive health care decisions. And she will continue to fight for people like you and me as president. She will fight to ensure that young people can jumpstart their American dream through affordable, accessible home ownership.
How?
And she will fight to ensure that every American, including us right here in Savannah and across our state, have the opportunity to not just get by, but ahead.
No.
Donald Trump doesn't care about us.
No, neither does the DNC. But listen, so there was, I was looking at something today. Oh gosh. What was it? Oh, it was this clip. It was this like I did the screenshot where Tim Walz was talking about, getting us to the middle class, and the whole section. I'll post it on Threads, but the whole thing was about helping the American people achieve the middle class dream. Remember when I told y'all they do not want people aspiring to more than the middle class? They do not want you aspiring towards to being wealthy. They don't want you thinking that you're ever going to be wealthy and that you're not going to be rich and you're not going to be wealthy. They want they want your aspiration to be middle class, and they keep reiterating that. And you would not notice that if you weren't paying attention for things like that. It's so subtle that you wouldn't even pick it up if you didn't have someone like me to remind you of that.
He doesn't care about the lives of working families here in Georgia. He couldn't care less about our struggles, dreams, hopes, and fears. Donald Trump only cares about himself. We cannot let him impose his extreme Project 2025 agenda on the communities we love.
Oh gosh. Wait, I just want to point out. So there's a mailer. One of my followers on Instagram sent me a picture. I think it's in North Carolina. There's a mailer that they have that, I mean, it is so well done. It's from Trump. It really like paints him as almost like the centrist, and the way they outline his policy points, and they actually give you a link to a website where his platform is. And it just looks so nice and so cozy. And at the end, it says he does not endorse Project 2025. He has nothing to do with that. This is the Trump agenda. Go look at it. And I'm like, it's so smooth. It's so good. And it's so better than what the Democrats are offering people in terms of, here's a website with a platform you can go and look at. And we don't have that.
Vice President Kamala Harris will turn the page on Trump's dark, depressing, and hateful vision for our country.
Who wrote this speech? It's good.
Georgia.
It don't make no sense, but it's good.
On our hands to change the course of history. As the president,
because we're going to go more to the right.
Body, I couldn't be more proud to now announce the next president of the United States of America, Vice President Kamala Harris.
Forgive me if I skip through this Beyonce walkout. I don't care about any of them. I also wanted to point out, I've said this on the podcast as well, you notice she has yet to wear a skirt or a dress, and she wears very little makeup. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were slowly trimming her hair to make it shorter. She's getting the Hillary treatment, right? So this idea that, because she has to be forceful, because she has to show herself to be a strong leader, they want to, I hate that feminine masculine shit, but y'all know what I'm talking about. So they have to kind of feminize her and kind of make her a little more masculine. So you've been noticing that she is shifting. Her skin is looking a little bit lighter. She's not wearing much makeup at all. She has not worn, I don't think I've ever seen her in a dress, whatever. But, these high level political women, they generally have to present in more masculine ways. And I think as a Black woman, she's going to have to do that even more. You ain't lying.
Good afternoon, Savannah. Good afternoon. Oh, good afternoon. Oh, it's good to be back in Savannah. Good afternoon. Can we please hear for Caitlin and her incredible...
What's her name, Caitlin? Or I thought it was Kayla.
Her incredible leadership. Look, when I look out at our young leaders like Caitlin, I know our future is so bright.
I could have sworn that child's name was Kayla.
I want to thank Mayor Johnson. Thank you for yours. There you are. We've been hanging out for the last 2 days. Mayor, I thank you so very much for your leadership. Thank you. Congresswoman Nikema Williams, the chair of the Democratic
I am not a masochist for doing this. This doesn't bother me one bit. Somebody on Instagram said you're definitely a masochist for doing this. I don't give a shit about any of this, so it does nothing to me.
Good afternoon.
She does look lighter, correct. I'm not tripping. She looks a lot lighter than she did just 3 weeks ago.
I also bring greetings from our president and a great friend of the state of Georgia, Joe Biden.
So I imagine that this is maybe putting some stress on her, because I've also looking at clips from her from just last year, and she does look like she's aged a little bit
from
more.
The state of Georgia, Jimmy Carter. So Georgia, I love you back. I love you back. And we have 68 days to go until this election. 68 days to go.
I just love cheering for some numbers.
And I think you all have spent your time here.
Somebody in the audience probably said, go play that number. Go play 68 somewhere. Put me 50-50 on 68-29.
Sacrificing all your other obligations to be here together, us as one community, knowing we all have so much more in common than what separates us. And I thank you for taking that time. And listen, so we're here to speak truth. And one of the things that we know, this is going to be a tight race until the very end. Okay? So let's not pay too much attention to the polls, because we are running as the underdog. Okay? And
you are only up 1.5 points. That's it. You should be up 20,000. Whatever the maximum points for a person to be up in political polls going against Donald Trump, a man who was just convicted of 34 felonies and is an adjudicated rapist and a lot of other alleged things, you should be 20 to 30 points ahead. I'm just going to put that out there. You're up 1.5, bro.
We have some hard work ahead of us, but we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work is good work. And with your help, we are going to win this November. We are going to win this November.
You know,
yes, we will.
She's gonna win, because like I keep telling y'all, and you know, I'm just gonna keep a little tinfoil hat and I'll just pop it on when I say these things sometimes. We're headed to World War III. They're putting her on the glass cliff. That's why I think she's gonna win. Okay, so I think you can all breathe easily. Don't worry about what I'm doing on my platform. She'll win, because they're gonna put the niggers in charge as we go into World War III or an American Civil War, another civil war. So it's going to be one of two.
So look, Georgia, let me say, I'm no stranger to tough fights.
Oh, here we go. The tough fights.
Before I was elected vice president, before I was elected a United States senator.
Now she runs through how she was elected.
An elected attorney general, and before that, an elected district attorney.
They have not changed a line. Let me see if I can go verbatim, if I can go with her. Because she's about to talk about how Donald Trump is her type. And then they're going to start chanting, lock him up. And then she's going to tell them to be quiet, and that we're going to take care of that in the fall. We're going to take care of that in November. Okay? Let me know.
And before that, I was a courtroom prosecutor. So every day in the courtroom, I stood proudly before a judge and I spoke 5 words: Kamala Harris for the people.
Ooh, that's a new twist. Kamala Harris for the people. That's a new twist. I like that. Slide that right in.
My entire career, I've only had one client: the people.
Ooh, okay. Since she moved into because they said they did start talking about how this is a people-powered movement. So I can see that.
I stood for women and children against predators who abused them. I took on the big banks and delivered $20 billion for middle-class families who faced foreclosure.
It's the one in which Israel keeps poking at everybody in the region and then calls us to come in and save their asses because they done picked fights with everybody. And, I don't know, they've exterminated about 200,000 people so far. So we're headed towards that. Because when was the last time people across the ocean were exterminated? And how long did it take the United States to get involved? Oh, well, it's kind of happening again, y'all. But you all love it. Well, not you all. My community here, you all are smart, but people love it. Don't tell me this ain't the same thing. It is.
I fought against cartels who traffic in guns, drugs, and human beings. And I stood up for veterans and students being scammed by big for-profit colleges.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Because China is taking over in terms of business opportunities and stuff on the continent. And the United States knows that it has to move quickly to make inroads into the continent of Africa. Because if they don't, China will take over, and China will oust, will take over as this global economic power. And we can't allow that to happen. And they need to put a Negra in charge. Because, you send your black friend to go talk to the darkies when you want to do business with them. I'm saying it this way because this is exactly what's happening, and I hope you all see it.
For workers who were being cheated out of the wages they were due, and for seniors facing elder abuse. And I will tell you, those fights were not easy. And neither were the elections that put me in those offices. But we never gave up, because the future is.
She's scared. They know something. She's scared. It's actually a really great clip. I should screenshot that. No, she's scared. She's scared. And that's why she's talking about her ability to win elections, because she knows that people are losing their confidence and they want to make sure that she's electable.
It's always worth fighting for. Always. And that is the fight we are in right now, a fight for America's future. We fight for a future with affordable childcare, paid leave, and affordable health care.
She's talking this we fight stuff. You know who was talking about fight? Fight first? Never mind.
And on that last subject, let's finally expand Medicaid in Georgia, so people can take their child to a doctor.
You can't do that. Please shut up. She's scared because of inside knowledge or something else. No, she's up 1.5 points. After the DNC, the gap should be much wider than it is. Like usually the candidates get a good boost after their conventions, a lot of popularity, and that people are really excited and charged up. The fact that her boost only put her at 1.5 points ahead of him, that's not good. That's not good. And I don't like when these politicians, these federal people go in there talking about they're going to change something in the state. You ain't done it yet, so you ain't going to do it. Like, you've been here 3.5 years. Why haven't you expanded the Medicaid? Because you can't. Why are you lying to people saying that you can?
We fight for a future where we build what I call an opportunity economy, so that every American has the opportunity to own a home, to start a business, and to build wealth and intergenerational wealth.
Oh, she said wealth. Oh, shit. Middle class wealth? Remember I talked the other day about the opportunity language. If you missed it, go watch my other video. The opportunity language comes from Republicans. So Obama and the progressives had the promise zones, and the idea of promise, everything was promise. When Trump got in office, everything became about opportunity. And so her use of opportunity is really an interesting choice of words. And just a little bit of research. I don't know who's on her team. I don't know who's helping her develop. Oh, wait, she's got Republicans developing her policy. Silly me. What am I talking about?
And a future where we lower the cost of living for America's families. So when I was...
What about American single people? You know, that's one group that Democrats and Republicans agree they can't stand, and that's single people, especially if you ain't got no kids.
Attorney General, I went after price fixing schemes. And love you back. And
how do you love a fucking politician? Like, how do you love a politician? I ain't supposed to be cussing. How do you love a politician? Unless that's your family.
I will tell you, when we get this done together, my friend, and when I am president, I will take on the bad actors who exploit a crisis to rip off consumers on everyday items. Who rip off consumers on everyday items like groceries. I will take on Big Pharma and cap the cost of prescription drugs and insulin for all Americans.
What is their obsession with insulin? No, shout out. I mean, I've had to take insulin before, but what is their obsession with this shit? What about cancer drugs? How about that? No disrespect. I love that. Hey, if you have diabetes, I'm with you. You need the insulin. Right now, you still can't afford it unless you're a senior, because only 4 million people are benefiting from this thing that they've made a centerpiece of all of their discussions and rallies and things. Okay, 4 million out of 330 million. That's okay. But where y'all at on the cancer treatments? Where y'all at on the cost of chemotherapy? Where y'all at on at least for the children? Where y'all at with that? You said, okay, insulin touches more people than chemotherapy drugs.
Of housing and work with developers to cut the red tape and build millions.
Except that doesn't work when only senior citizens are getting the benefit, right? Like, you know.
Of new homes. And I will give 100 million Americans a tax cut including.
No. I'm talking about lowering the cost altogether, right? So whatever Medicaid is charged, whatever your health insurance is charged to pay for those. I'm not talking about coverage. I'm talking about the cost of these medications, right? Because the bottom line is that when all these medications cost through the roof, that's why our premiums are as high as they are, because the insurance companies insist that they have to charge us more or our employers more because of the cost of the drugs, because of the cost of the healthcare, provision itself. I don't know if y'all know, as somebody who sporadically has insurance, when you go and you're self-paying, like, so many of the charges and the prices are lower if you self-pay than they are if they're charging your insurance. And I don't know if people know that, right? So I'm just kind of pointing that out. There's other things that affect more people than diabetes too. I'm just making that point that, like, this focus on insulin, even though they've only been doing it for seniors, is not helping. Like, what are you doing?
Including $6,000 to families during the first year of their child's life. Understanding folks just need a little help from time to time. And it's not about just getting by, it's about getting ahead. $6,000 in the first year of a child's life to help pay for that car seat or the crib or the baby clothes.
Other nations have been doing this, particularly in Europe. It is a model that the United States should have had. It'd be nice if they can do it. The reason why they haven't done it is because they say that they don't have the money for it. And so, again, when people say that those who are talking about free Palestine and ending the war and the genocide and stuff like that, is because you keep telling us you don't have money to do these things that would improve the lives of American people, but you have more than enough money to send 2,000-pound bombs to exterminate other people. That's where people are like, this is hypocrisy.
And unlike Donald Trump, I will always put the middle class and working class families first. come from the middle class. I know what I'm talking about.
Also, I have to do, I'm actually gonna do this because I've been paying attention to this middle class language that she's been using, and I'm very curious about this. Does anybody in the chat actually know how much money her mother made? I know that her parents came over because they were PhD students, right? I'm not going to say that doctors, of philosophy make a whole lot of damn money, but right, this woman wasn't no slouch. So she's been talking about, I grew up in the middle class, right? The middle class is very wide, right? Your family can be making six figures and you're in the middle class. Your family, because when they talk about the middle class and they say things like for families making under $400,000 a year, that's what they consider middle class, right? So she keeps saying that she grew up middle class and that they lived within their means. But she's never taught, she said that, they didn't miss any meals, they never struggled or anything like that. But she's leaning on this middle class thing where we know, first of all, she was talked about being bused, and I'm just going to let you know that there's only certain kids that they will bus to these schools. You have to be okay. I'm gonna shut up. Whatever. Okay, but I'm very curious about her talking more about being from the middle class and what she's trying to convey, because her mother came here because her wealthy parents were completely able to fund her to come over here and support her so that she could go as a scholar, as a PhD, scholar. Okay. 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 It's okay.
And Savannah. But we got some work to do. Okay, we got some work to do because we know Donald Trump has a very different plan. He has a very different plan. Just look at his Project 2025 agenda. Right. If he is elected, Donald Trump intends to give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations. He intends to cut Social Security and Medicare. And he wants to impose what in effect is a national sales tax on everyday products and basic necessities. And it will cost, the economists will tell you, it will cost a typical American family nearly $4,000 a year. So Georgia, on
What's
top
the
of
typical
all of
American
this,
family?
if Donald
Anybody
Trump
know?
wins in November, he intends to end the Affordable Care Act.
I just want to remind everybody that he said he was going to do that when he won before, and he didn't do it. Because there's a whole government that I'm trying to figure out why the Democrats are acting like there's no government. There's no government.
To take us back to a time when insurance companies were not going back. We're not going. We are not going.
I just want to point out that her mother was a biomedical scientist at the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory. She wasn't making $35,000 or $75,000. Okay. Like, let's be honest. I'm not talking about when her mother was a student. I'm not talking about her as a postdoc. I'm talking about what she was doing for a living as she was raising her two daughters. She was a scientist, and I believe she was working on fighting cancer, and she even won an award for that. Let's not do that. Okay. Because like this I was middle class narrative. Okay. You are by these standards, but she's doing it to make herself relatable to people and to act like she wasn't rich. Because she was. And to the people that she's talking to in this audience, they would definitely have considered her family rich. And she knows that in most of these audiences. And so when she says that she's of the middle class, She's not lying, but she's, you know what she's doing.
We're going forward. And the reason we know we can't go back, to your point, the reason we know we can't go back on the issue of the Affordable Care Act, remember what that was like before we had the Affordable Care Act?
Oh, shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that, y'all. Let me go back. Sorry, y'all. I clicked the wrong thing. Hold on. Where were we? I don't even know where
of living for America's
we
families.
did that already. So, I'll just go ahead.
I come from the middle class. I know what I'm talking about.
See, yeah, I'm glad we went right back to that. Does anybody know if she got a scholarship or had financial aid to go to Howard? Or did her mom pay for that? I don't know. Like, let me check. Let me check. Because we know everything on the internet. I don't know. I can't seem to tell. College wasn't cheap back then, so I'm just asking.
And Savannah.
No, I'm just curious. Like, was she on financial aid?
We got some work to do because we know Donald Trump has a very different plan. He has a very different plan.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'll agree with you on that.
Just look at his Project 2025 agenda.
Which he is now saying he ain't got nothing to do. We know he does, but he's saying that ain't me.
Donald Trump intends to give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations.
Well, I don't know why I keeps doing that. I'm sorry. I don't know why I keeps doing that. But that's okay because it was a necessary break. But
he intends to end the Affordable Care Act.
We did that already. The Democrats are going to give billionaires tax breaks too. Are we aware of this? Like, the Democrats are also going to give the billionaires tax breaks.
Ours is a fight for the future. And it is a fight for freedom. Like the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body.
We still have the opportunity for you to use gender expansive language. And they're like, they're kind of doubling down. I wish I could give y'all some tea about a conversation that I had with a certain somebody who went viral. And anyway, maybe I'll tell Katie and Kia, I'll tell y'all on the side somewhere, because it was
And not have her government tell her what to do. And understand how we got here. When he was president, Donald Trump handpicked 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did just as he intended.
Yeah,
and
just as you all intend to.
More than 20 states have a Trump abortion ban, including Georgia. In fact, every state in the South.
So this is building up to the line that if Congress puts a bill on my desk, I will sign it into law. That's what we're working towards here.
Except for Virginia has a Trump abortion ban. And think about that. Many, with no exceptions even for rape and incest. That is immoral. Immoral. And let us all agree, one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree the government should not be telling her what to do.
So yes, right? Okay. the government not telling people what to do is a conservative talking point, right? Except for when it goes to abortion. But the thing is, the reason why I don't like when the Democrats kind of move into that space is because your whole party is about a unified government. It's about a federal government. It's about federal oversight. It's about all those kinds of things. So we have a constitution that governs everybody, right? So the government does tell you what you can and cannot do. The government says that if you don't put this seatbelt on when you get into your car, you are going to have to pay a fine. The government says that if you do not have insurance for your car, even though the government does not offer us auto insurance, right? They're forcing us to pay private companies to get auto insurance. We're not allowed to drive our car. The government says if you do not register this car with us so that we can monitor your, and track you, you will get in trouble for that. So the government does tell us what to do every day, all day, right? You don't send your kid to school, you can get in trouble for that. So they have to tread lightly when they start talking about abortion and saying, the government shouldn't be telling a woman what to do with her body. Then why aren't y'all fighting as hard for the fact that these doctors won't give women tubal ligations when they haven't had kids? Like, I want to hear more talk about that. This whole thing about reproductive justice and reproductive rights, it's way more than just abortion. And so I want to see where people fall on that. But this language of, the government shouldn't be able to tell you what to do with your body sounds nice in theory. But as a Democratic Party and the party of federal expansive government, that's not your lane. And, MLK and the folks with the Poor People's Campaign and all the stuff like that, you're absolutely right, because they are ignoring poor people. Unless you're a poor person willing to work yourself to death to move into the middle class, then they'll support you with that, right? But they do ignore low income folks, and they do, focus on, and the thing is, what makes this worse for me is that you are half Black, and that 30% of Black people in this country are living in poverty. That Black people struggle disproportionately with achieving economic growth, right? These things. And so the fact that you kind of erase those people in these narratives about social and economic mobility, it is problematic.
And if he wins, Donald Trump will go further. He will sign a national abortion ban, you best believe. And he would create a national anti-abortion coordinator. And
by the way, if he signs a national abortion ban, is that executive order? Because you have a government. Why do I feel like I have to keep reminding people that there are 3 branches of the government? Okay. One, the Democrats could have worked on changing the rules of that many, many times. They chose not to. Okay, so the conservatives, they have the Supreme Court. You still have the executive branch, which is you. And then you have, the Congress. They have House of Representatives and the Senate. And you have been the deciding vote for the Senate. So you guys have been in control of that. I just want to remind people that there's a government process.
And force states to report on women's miscarriages and abortions. It's right there in Project 2025. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Simply put, they are out of their minds.
So the other thing that I said before, if you watched the other time, I said about how she needs to be better with her messaging in certain spaces, like kind of depending on where she is. It's because you're in Georgia, you're in the Bible Belt, you're in Savannah, you're in like an area that is more rural, very much Jesus heavy. You talking about abortion to people who are largely not a big fans of abortion. So I'm not sure that should be the emphasis of your messaging. I don't. Let me just eat this oatmeal cream pie.
Why don't they trust women?
Now it's they don't trust women.
Trust women.
I actually feel they're getting egregious with the women thing. I feel like they are definitely pushing back on the, on the gender expansive language, and they're caving to like the anti-woke folks. Like she's saying woman more than she actually needs to. Anybody notice this? I'm sorry. You guys know I talk about the speech stuff too. This is my thing, is like I analyze the actual speeches and things like that because I'm a professional speaker. So, okay.
And when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it.
You hear it. I'm just gonna go back. Let's take it back. Let's go back, because you gotta pay attention to the language. She's saying, I can't do shit about this. That's what she's saying. Hear it again.
We trust women. And when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. Proud.
So in other words, she added the extra proudly. In other words, if Congress doesn't do it, it's not happening. And if Congress doesn't do it, it's because of who you elected or didn't elect.
And across our nation, in addition to that, we are witnessing a full-on assault on other hard-fought, hard-won fundamental freedoms.
Somebody was protesting? Wait.
We are witnessing law.
What happened here?
Proudly.
What happened?
And across our nation, in addition to that, we are witnessing a full-on assault.
Did they call her a war criminal? Did I hear that? Did anybody else hear that? Am I tripping? Somebody please tell me. Tell me somebody on TikTok got another shot.
On other hard-fought, hard-won fundamental freedoms.
What is this?
Let me just say something. Hold up for a second. Let me.
Okay, they saying play it back. Hold on.
Let me just say
something.
Saying
play it back. We're gonna play
it back. We are fighting for democracy.
Oh Jesus, shut up.
Our nation. In addition to that,
we
are witnessing. We trust women. Proudly sign it into law.
Hold on, y'all pay attention.
And across our nation, in addition to that, we are witnessing a full-on assault.
That's why she's so thrown off.
Hard-won.
That's why she's so thrown off. Somebody called her ass a war criminal. She knows she can't wag her finger at them anymore.
Fundamental freedoms.
They called that lady a war criminal. Look at her. She shook. She didn't like that. She ain't like that. She ain't like that. That hair is feathered.
Let me just say something. Hold up for a second. Let me just say something. Let me just say something. We are fighting for democracy.
Are we?
Everyone has a right and should have their voices heard. I am speaking now, but on the subject, I will say this, the president and I are working around the clock. We've got to get a hostage deal done and get a ceasefire done now.
You know, I'm speaking, but on the subject, we have to get a hostage deal. You know, and I was joking because she does sound, you know, I grew up, so, you know, I was absolutely 100% made in the Bronx. But when I was a little kid, you know, I lived in Queens and I lived in a little heavily Jewish neighborhood called Rego Park. And, you know, I used to go to this little bagel shop, and the guy ran it, but his mom would be there sometimes. And she's this old Jewish lady, and she would always call me Bubby. And she'd be like, "Come here, Bubby." And she would always give me like free shit and stuff like that. That's what she sounds like. She sounds like a Jewish grandmother right now. And she sounds like a Jewish grandmother cussing you out. But she has to talk about the hostage deal, right? That's the first thing, hostage deal. People hear hostage deal, they cheer for it. You know, they hear that we gotta get a ceasefire. Yeah, I know we gotta get a ceasefire. She's not saying we're gonna get a ceasefire. We're not gonna do this because fuck you.
So back to this election and Donald Trump. So in addition to the fight on the fundamental freedom to make decisions about one's own body, I have been traveling our country, and the people of Georgia know what I know. There is a full-on assault on hard-fought, hard-won freedoms and rights.
They're still yelling.
Including
They're still yelling.
Freedom to vote.
Why wasn't this? Nobody was talking about this.
The freedom to
Well,
be
it just
safe
happened, so it was at like 5:15.
from gun violence.
Oh, she lost this rally. I love it. She lost it. She's done. The rally is done. That's why it was so short. I was wondering why it was so short. Because, yeah, they had cut it off. It's only 28 minutes. I was wondering why it was so short. She's lost this rally.
Freedom to love who you love.
Oh, she's over Savannah. She ain't never going back. The Democrats haven't been to Savannah since the 90s. They ain't going back for another 20 years.
Including the freedom to live free from the pollution that fuels the climate crisis.
Listen, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. She done lost it. She's lost it. She look at her disposition. Look at her face. She can't even talk. She's not talking convincingly about the climate change. She doesn't believe anything that she's saying anymore.
And an attack on the freedom to love who you love openly and with pride.
She lost the passion and the vigor she had earlier.
Against all of that,
no, she's pissed off.
Including the freedom to live free from the pollution that fuels the climate crisis.
She's like, why the fuck I'm talking about this damn climate shit? She's pissed off. Like, she is just not happy right now.
Here's the thing. Generations of Americans before us led the fight for freedom. Now,
they're still going.
Savannah, the baton is in our hands.
Right, she's in Savannah. Nothing specific to Savannah.
In the sacred freedom to vote, will finally pass the John Lewis.
I was just about to say. You know, get to your John Lewis Voting Act thing, because you're in Georgia, which is the state that has like the highest voter suppression in the country. That's what you need to be talking about. You don't need to be talking about no damn climate change. You need to be talking about no damn abortion to Bible thumpers. You need to be talking about their votes being suppressed. And that's what you should have led with.
And the Freedom to Vote Act. We who believe in the freedom to live safe from gun violence will finally pass universal background checks and red flag laws.
You could have done that in the last 3.5 years. Oh, no, you couldn't. Because again, this is something that you do not have control over. Stop telling people what you're going to do and stick to your languages of what we hope to do, because that's what you've been riding on this whole time. So just keep it real, right? Yeah, that rattled her.
So much is on the line in this
I wish
election.
we could see what she sees.
So much is on the line. And understand, this is not 2016 or 2020. Things are different. A lot is the same when we think about the issues, and then there is significant differences. The stakes in 2024 are even higher, because consider that the United States Supreme Court recently just basically told the former president that going forward, he will be effectively immune no matter what he does in the White House.
So will you.
Now, just imagine. Well,
I just want y'all to see this real quick. Do y'all see that? You see that? Donors quietly push Harris to drop the tax on the ultra wealthy. What did I just say to y'all? I said they're going to have tax breaks too, right? She's talking about Trump and his tax breaks. Her donors, her wealthy donors, are like, you ain't fitting to tax us. Come on, y'all. Like, let's just be real here.
The courts are going to take care of that. We're going to get them out of, we're going to elect ourselves and everybody here in November. But I mentioned the Supreme Court ruling because understand what this means. Just imagine, before there was at least the threat of consequence, understand what it now means, and imagine Donald Trump with no guardrails. Imagine what that means when you consider he has openly vowed that if reelected on day one, he will be a dictator.
Yeah, he did say that. He did say that.
That he would end the independence of the Department of Justice so he could have unchecked power and seek vengeance against people who disagree with him.
And you're still only beating him by 1.5 points. This is what is killing me right now.
He even called for termination of the United States Supreme, the supreme land of our nation, the United States Constitution.
Wait, what did she just say? That makes sense. What did she just say? Let's go back.
Who suggests
she's stuttering now because she's shook. She's shook.
That he would end the independence of the Department of Justice so he could have unchecked power and seek vengeance against people who disagree with him. He even called for termination of the United States Supreme, the supreme land of our nation, the United States Constitution.
He called for the termination of the independence of the supreme land, the Constitution of,
Think about what that means, and let us be very clear.
The teleprompters are right there. Just read them. Just read the teleprompters. She shook.
Someone who suggests we should terminate the Constitution of the United States should never again stand behind the seal of the President of the United States of America.
Wait, what?
Never again.
What?
The termination of the United States Supreme, the supreme land of our nation, the United States Constitution.
Supreme land of our nation.
That means, and let us be
United
very
States
clear.
Constitution.
Someone who suggests we should terminate the Constitution of the United States should never again stand behind the seal of the President of the United States.
Fun fact, there were some freedom fighters in the 19th century that wanted to get rid of the Constitution because it was oppressive, but that's okay, we're gonna keep going.
America. Never again. So it all comes down to this. We are all here together, spending this time together because we love our country. We love our country. We love our country. And we know the privilege and pride that comes with being American. And
Okay.
I do believe it is the highest form of patriotism to fight for the ideals of our country. That is how we realize the promise of America. Georgia, for the past 2 election cycles, voters in this very state, you who are here, have delivered. You sent 2 extraordinary senators to Washington, D.C.
One of which who agreed with bombing the Palestinian people and then went on a DNC stage and said we shouldn't bomb the Palestinian people. That's okay. So he bore false witness, which as a pastor, he knows that is against one of the 10 commandments, but that's okay. Just want to remind folks, if you weren't here a little bit earlier, if you need to leave us soon or whatever, I will be back later to do the CNN interview. Okay. I do have to pick up my son in about an hour, and I know that it starts at 9 Eastern time. So I will be going to get him. I will come back, and then I will be coming live again. So make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you got your notification on. Make sure you're looking out. I'll let you know. Oh, wait, he just said it ended early. Okay. I'll come get you now. All right, y'all. See, that ain't nothing but the spirits. That ain't nothing but the spirit, y'all. The kid ended early. I'm going to go pick him up now. I will see y'all back here at 9, okay? 9 o'clock, actually 8:55. Let's get in here early. Get your snacks, get your drinks, get whatever you need. We'll be back. We don't need to finish this rally because we already know how it ends. We've seen 20,000 of them. We're just looking for a change. I'll be back 9 o'clock. That's about 50 minutes from now. Y'all go take a break. Take whatever drugs you need. If you need drugs, if you need to go have sex real quick, if you need to go walk your dog, if you need to go exercise, whatever you need to do to prepare for this interview, because we're going to do it live. All right. I love you all so much. Thank you for joining me. We're going to be here. I'll see y'all in a bit.